So today I'm going to explain about the chapter 1, Introduction to Networks. So this network for the intro is actually related to the module 1, Networking Today, in your NetaCat. So later on, if you're free, you can go and access the materials, comprehensive materials. Yeah. Okay. So for the chapter 1, we will talk about the globally connected. And then we will have a 1.2, which is the local area networks, wide area networks, and also the internet. And then we will learn about the networks, network components, LAN and WANs, and the internet and all that. Okay, so I will go through all this later on. So upon completion, you should be able to understand the 1.1 until 1.4. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the first one, globally connected. So as you know now, networks is very, very important, especially we are having the Google Meet. So the network is very, very important. We need to have a very strong network. So welcome to the world where we are more powerful together than we ever could be apart. Okay, so imagine that every one of you here, you are come from the different states, but we use these networks, we can communicate and attending my lecture. Okay, so welcome to the human network. Okay, so this network, what is the first advantages? So there is no boundaries. So no boundaries means that nobody can stop us, okay, to keep in touch with each other. There's no boundaries. And advancement in the networking technology helping us to create a world without boundaries. So even though there's a pandemic happen, so as long as we have the network, we have the good network internet connection, we can able to reunion, all right? Okay, then no boundary for what? The global communities. So you can actually join any of the global communities, communicate with the internet, encourage you to join any of the Facebook community whatsoever, yeah? And then refers to the impact. Okay, Cisco refers to the impact of the internet and the networks on the people, the human network. Okay, so the human network. So that's the first. Second advantages of the networking today is support the way we learn. Okay, as what you are sitting in front of the computer, and then you remember that you're sitting like a classroom, right? Like this. Okay, I think everybody love this physical environment, but you don't have to be in the school anymore. Okay, everybody here before the Chinese New Year, you're still virtual attending my lecture. Okay. Right. Second, the third, network support the way we work. Okay, how the working environments. A lot of during this pandemics, a lot of companies they have to ask their workers to work at home. Okay, so this is how the network support us throughout the working. The globalization of the internet has empowered individuals to create information that can be accessed globally. So the form of communication can be a texting, like SMS, social media, collaboration tools like Jamboard that we can actually discuss the tutorial questions, and then we will have a blogs, we have a wikis, and we have the podcasting. Now all these will be is already happening, okay, for our networks. And yeah, we can use these networks for our discussion, the group discussion, okay, for the training. And you can use the networks to play online games, to watch the videos, okay, for your posting for social media. Okay, you can do a lot of online activities. Okay, so that is how the networks support us to play. Okay, now we go for the network components. How all these happen? How can we communicate? So host roles, every computer on the network is called a host. Or we can call it end device. Like for example, some of you, you come for my class, you use your handphone to attend my class, so that your handphone is actually a host, or we can call it end device. Like now I'm using the computer, so my computer is a host, I can call it end device. So remember this, we need to have an end device. Okay, then you should have a server. So server are the computers that provide information to the end device. Like for example, we are connecting to the email servers right now, or we are connecting to the web server or file server. But everybody here is in the Google Meet, right? So we communicate through the Google Meet. So everybody must use the TAUC domain to attend my lecture. So that is the web servers, okay, with the tlrc.edu.my. Okay, so you you need to have these, okay, servers, which is the domain. And then clients and our computers that send the request to the servers to retrieve the information. So what does this mean? That means that in order for us to communicate, we need to have a network components. Okay, so we need to know what is the client. So client is the one that send the request. Like you can't join my Google Meet, then you have to send the request to me so that I can permit you. Okay, so that is about the host roles, yeah. Okay, and next we talk about the server type. So the server type were divided into email, web server, and the file server. So email server is the one that you subscribe to any like Gmail. Okay, Gmail is your server, email server. So if you subscribe to the Yahoo, so Yahoo will be your email server. All right. So web is the one that you use any of the web server software. So you client normally use the browser, okay, software to access the web page, like http://www.netarcade.com. So that will be the server provide you with networking academy materials. All right. Okay, then we will have a file server store the corporate and also the user file. The client devices access these files. All right. Okay. Next, we will go for peer-to-peer networks. So peer-to-peer is possible to have a device, be a client and a server in a peer-to-peer network. Now, this type of the network design is only recommended in a very small network. So what is the peer-to-peer? Okay, peer-to-peer. So this peer-to-peer means that it is a device. That means only one device. Yeah? It can be a client, or it can be a server. Like this print server, print sharing device, it can be a client. It can also be a server. Okay, this one can be a client. This one can be a server. All right, so the advantages is easy to set up. The disadvantages is no centralized administration. So you can transfer the file from this print sharing, this computer to another computer, which is involve one computer only, okay, one peer to one peer. That's called peer-to-peer. Okay, less complex. So it's very what you call that, not so complicated, but the disadvantages is not secure. Okay, so let me talk about the advantages first. Yeah, so the advantages of this peer-to-peer is that it will easy to set up. You look at this diagram, you can just use two computers. You need to form the cable, then link to the computers and also the printer, then you can set up already. Then it will be less complexity, and in this case, it will be very save cost. Okay, so used for a simple task, transferring the files and sharing the printers. Normally, that will be the advantages of the peer-to-peer networks. But the disadvantages is that no centralized administration. That means you have to go to here, shut down the computers. You have to go to here, shut down the computers. So you can't able to just off the one power button, then the rest all off. You can't do that. So that's the meaning of no centralized administration. And then not as secure as not secure as well. And it is not scalable. Scalable means that if I have a new computers connected to this peer-to-peer, right, I can't do that. It's not scalable enough, okay? And it will slow down your performance, okay? So that will be the disadvantages of having the peer-to-peer. Okay, so for the network components, we were divided into three categories. The first one will be devices, the second one will be media, and the third one will be the services. So devices will have the end device, network infrastructure devices. Media will be a cable or wireless, and the services will be a software or the software run. So we have three categories of the network components. When I talk about the devices, it will refers to your end device, yeah. It will also refers to your network infrastructure devices, or it can be the host. Okay, so there will be a lot of name representing our network components. But for here, we will have three components. If the question asking you about three categories of the network components, so you should write devices. The second one will be media. The third one will be the services. Okay. Now, let's go for devices. Devices can be the end device or can be the host. Now, the end device is where a message originates from or where it is received. So your data originate with an end device, flow through the network and arrive at an end destination. That means if you are here, you are local area network, this is your computer. Okay, so end devices means that it's a person who sent the message, okay, from this source here. And then this is actually called all the end devices. All right. So these end devices is the where your data originate. Okay, it will start from where? So your data flow. If you send the email, then your data start from here, then it will flow throughout the network intermediary device and reach to the destination here. So this is called end device. This one also called end devices. So end devices can be a sender, end devices can be a receiver. Okay, so conclusion, the end devices is a message originated from or where you receive it. Either you are the source or you are the destination who received the message. Okay, second components, we talk about the intermediary network device. So the intermediary network device connected to the end device, which is switches. You will have a wireless access point. You got the routers and you got the firewalls. Okay, so examples are as you use the packet tracer, you can use this wireless router. How do I know that this is a wireless router? With these two antenna here. So if you see the packet tracer with these two antenna, this is called wireless router. But if without the antenna, it's called router. Yeah. Okay. So this wireless router or the router, or we call it the LAN switch, or the multi-layer switch, and also the firewall. Now, all these devices you will get familiar when you go through the practical using the packet tracer. Now, this is all we call intermediary device. Intermediary device means that I need to have all these devices to help me carry my signal from the source to the destination. Like here, it should be part under intermediary here. That means it will be a source here at the end side, and the destination at the the end device at the another end, and the intermediary device will help you to carry your signal, or we call it the packet or the frames, reach to the destination. So what type of the intermediary device located here? It will be in this slide. It can be the router, it can be the LAN, it can be the multi-layer switch, it can be the firewall. Okay? So that will be the second media that we call an intermediary network device. Okay, next, we talk about the media. Okay, so network media is the one that we talk about the cable or wired or wireless. Okay, you can use the wire, you can use the wireless. So in this slide here, it will tell you that we have three types of the media. The first one is if you use a cable. So you uses the electrical impulses, the one that you at home, and then your computer is connecting to the cable to the router. So if, in this case, you are using the uses the electrical impulses, okay, to connect to the internet. But if you use the fiber optic, like for example, massive broadband, nowadays at home, you can have all these fiber optic cable, okay, to do the installation home. So this is called the using the fiber optic. Okay, how the fiber optic looks like? It will be something like made by glass and not easily to bend it. So when you what you call that, you remove the outer part, you can see that here the cable is very, very thin, like our human hair. So that is what we call fiber optic cable. So fiber optic cable is super fast, but anyway, it is very fragile. So you make sure you don't bend it or whatsoever. Because if let's say it's broken, then the whole cable cannot be used already. Okay, next, we talk about the wireless. So the wireless transmission, it will basically receive some signals, and it will going to use a specific frequency of electromagnetic wave. Okay, so again, for this slide, we are talking about three components: network media. We have the end device, we got the network media, and this network media divided into wired and also the wireless. Okay, so wired is using the electrical pulses, or you can use a fiber optic using the light to transmit the data. And for the wireless, you are using this electromagnetic wave. Okay. Now, in terms of speed, the fastest one is fiber optic because it transmits through the light. If you learn physics, yeah, okay. And the slowest one will be our wireless transmission, which is using the electromagnetic wave. Okay. All right, next we talk about the network service. So the last components that we talk about in order for us to communicate with each other will be our network service. So this network service provide information in a response to a request. So services include many of the common network applications people use every day, like email hosting services and also the web hosting services. Okay. All right. Services can be what? I just summarize here. Like for example, there are the communication program called the software. Software like what we are using right now is using the Google Meet. So Google Meet is the software for us to communicate online so that everybody can attend my lecture. All right. So that is one type of the services provided throughout the one of the network components. Okay, so processes you provide the functionality that directs and move the message through the network. So processes are less obvious to us because it's critical to the operation of the network. You can't see it, but you know that it's happening. Like everybody can hear my voice very smoothly or whatsoever. So there is a processes working behind that is provide the functionality that helping me to convey the message wherever I say. Okay, you all can hear it. Okay, that will be the network components. Yeah. Okay, next we go for network representation and also the topologies. So this is the network representation when you use the Google packet tracer. So for your information, packet tracer is our network simulator. What do you mean by network simulator? Network simulator means that you can use any of these devices here, and you can test your network whether they can able to send to ping successfully or not. Then you can use this packet tracer as a simulator to generate your network environment. Okay, that means you don't have to use the physical component, okay, to do this thing. So what you need to do is for your assignment, you are going to touch all these devices, and I just let you know that for your end devices, you can use the computer, you can use the laptop, you can use a printer. This is called voice IP phone. Now, what's the difference between the older phone and the phone that older phone means that the phone at home that you are still using it. Let's say like you still have it. So this voice over IP phone is different from that one because this voice over IP phone, you can see the screen here. And sometimes you can see the message, people call you, right? Then you can see who is the sender name that call you. Okay. But it's a function like our old phone, but just that it consists of the voice over IP. Okay. So wireless tablet, very simple. It's something like your tablet PC. Okay, like iPad. Okay, all these are the wireless tablets. And then you will have the telepresent endpoint, something like a smart TV and all that. Okay, so that will be a telepresent endpoint. Okay, so all this is considered as the end devices that you can see in your packet tracer. Now, intermediary devices, remember just now network components. How can we communicate with each other? How can everybody from the different stack attending my lecture? You need to have three things. First, end device. Second, you need to have an intermediary device, whether you use the wired or wireless. Okay, and the third one, you can use the network media. Okay, the network media is the wireless or the wired, and the intermediary device means that whether your house got wireless router or you are using the local connectivity or whatsoever. Okay, so you need to have these three components in order to communicate to the internet. It's a must. Any of these components missing, we cannot communicate through the internet. Okay, so that's why it is called components of networks. Okay, next we will go for this network representation. So the network representation divided into NIC, which is called network interface card. Then you have a physical part. Then you will have the interface. Okay. So the network interface card is the one that, like, if you are using the laptop, so you will have the NIC, the adapter, okay, that allow you to just plug in the cable to your NIC card. Then you can access to the internet already. Now, same thing goes to our computer. Our computer also must have NIC card, okay? NIC card, which is the LM adapter for you to access to the internet. Now, the second one will be the physical port. No matter what physical port it is, okay? So it is a connector that allow you to have a networking device where the media is connected to a host or other networking devices. So other networking devices can be any of the intermediary device, or you have the end device, or anything. Yeah. Okay. So that will be a physical port. Next, talk about the interface. So interface will be a specialized ports on the internetworking device that connect to the individual networks. Now, because the router are used to interconnect networks, so the ports of the router are referred to network interfaces. Okay, so talk about this, right? The network interface card, physical port, and the interface. Basically, this one is physical port, means like you can see any of your computer behind. There's a lot of port, like HDMI port, any thumb drive. These are what you call that, the USB cable for you to plug. That is one of the physical port as well. That you plug in the USB inside. Okay, then there's a lot of port connectors, audio connectors, video, or whatsoever. So that's what we call physical port. Interface means like our switch. When you connected to the switch, you will deal with the port number, like FA0/1, 0/2, 0/3. That is all consists of your interface. Okay, I can show you using this packet tracer. Okay, examples like how do I know that what interface is that? So when I move my cursor, go here. Okay, then you will see that I will have the interface of Giga. Okay, G0/0/0, G0/0/1. So if I want to go inside here, I can just go to show IP interface brief. Okay, this interface, all these are my interface port that is connecting to the router. Okay, so all this is interface. So you want to connect to which interface? So this is called Giga 0/0/0 interface. Okay, all right, that's about theory reflected to our practical. Maybe some of you still not clear. I will have two devices here. Okay, so I put a cable to connect to each of the device. So I plug in the cable. Oh, I got so many interface. So which interface you want to connect? Maybe you want to connect to fast Ethernet 0/1. Connect to this switch of fast Ethernet 0/1. So this FA 0/1 is the interface of the switch devices. Is that clear? Yeah? All right. Okay, so let's come back to our slides. Next, topology. Here we talk about the diagram. So our topology for our network arrangement, just now we talk about the network components. We will have end device. We will have the this intermediary device. We will have the media, right? So how are we going to arrange all these three components? So it could be for the physical topology. Now, physical topology diagram means that when I go and visit physical design, I will know that, okay, I enter to this admin hub here. So, I enter to the classroom hub. Then I know that this classroom hub is connecting to PC number 1, PC number 2, PC number 3 at the classroom number 1. So when I enter to the classroom number 2, I will see that there's 3 devices connecting to the classroom hub. And when I enter to the classroom 3, I will see that there is 2 computers and 1 printer connected to my classroom hub. So what does this mean? This means that when I see the diagram that you design here, I know exactly how your cable connected, how the placement of your devices happen. Now, this is called physical topology. So physical topology definition is that it will identify the physical location of your intermediary device. Remember, the intermediary device will be your switch, will be your router, okay, and also your configured parts, okay, physical parts, and also your cable installation. So that will be the physical topology. Okay, is that clear? Now, if I want to change this topology to become the logical topology, this is how it works. So logical topology means that I don't know how the physical arrangement in the classroom, but I know that when I go and enter the classroom one, I only know there is a 3 IP addresses with the IP address of 192.168.101, 192.168.102. So what is happening for your logical topology is that you use the numbering or labeling to refer to draft your design for your topology. Okay, whether you want to use a logical topology or the physical topology is up to you, because sometimes when you're handling the project, right, the company might ask you to draft the logical topology. Maybe the topology is too huge already. So they want you to ask you to plan for the IPv4 and IPv6 addressing. So you can use the logical topology to draft the IP addresses. Okay, but some of the company, maybe they will ask you for both. So you need to know how to design for the physical and logical topology. Now, don't see this one is not important. Actually, this is very, very important. You know why? Because one day, if you don't have this topology, you resign from the company, and then there is a new staff come into the company, right? They just can, if without this topology. So because in the real life situation, all this cable is actually, it will grounded under the floor or maybe on the ceiling. So you can't see how this cable connection works without this diagram. Okay, we have done that part. Now let's go for the next one. 1.2, which is the LAN, wide area networks, and also the internet. So let me just use a very quick explanation about this. The rest you can read for your own. For the local area networks, we have what we call small home office, small home networks. So small home means that, for example, this is your house, and then you yourself, you will have the computer, the whatever the equipment here lah, okay, to access to the network. So that is what we call a small home. So it will connect a few computers to each other. Maybe you have 2 or 3 computers connecting to the printer. So that is what we call small home network. And then we will have another one called SOHO. So SOHO stands for small office, home office. Like this cubicle in a certain company, maybe they only have 4 staff. Okay, but all this is communicating with their computers and also the remote server. And this server is maybe connected to the US or any of the companies. Okay, so that is what we call small office, home office. Really as a very small cubicle only lah, all right? Okay, so come to here, the medium or large company, many location with 100 or 1,000 of the interconnected computers. So you will experience this very soon when you go for the industrial training. Some of you might work at the SOHO, some of you might work at the medium or large network, and some of you might work at the small home. All right, so then we will have the worldwide and connects to the 100 of millions of computers worldwide, such as the internet. Okay, so we have many types of the network here. Then I will just let you know that we have local area networks, and the short name is called LAN. So throughout my lecture later on, I will always say LAN or WAN or MAN. Okay, local area networks, LAN. Then you have wide area networks, which is WAN. And then other types of the network include Metropolitan area networks. You have the wireless LAN, you have the storage access network. Now, we will go through these all now. Okay, talk about the LAN. Okay, LAN means that you only have one, not only one, you got 2 or 3 called switch. Okay, switch is the layer 2 device. So in this class, this, if you look at the topology, right, this is called layer 2 switch. So layer 2 switch means that it will involve the local area networks only. So local area networks means across a very small geographical location. How small it is, it can be your home, one building. It can be a single organization in the company, maybe the first floor, second floor, like that. Okay, so that will be a local area networks. And then these local area networks, normally it will provide a very high speed bandwidth to the internal devices. Okay, so that is considered as LAN. Yeah, so LAN, very small geographical location. If this LAN, like for example, this is LAN, yeah, connect to another LAN, and you use router is the layer 3 device, yeah, to connect to each other, then in this case, this is called wide area network. Okay, so wide area networks means it will span a wide geographical area, like what we have right now. Some of you from KL, some of you from Sabah, some of you from Sarawak, some of you from Johor, Penang, Kedah, whatsoever. So from Kedah local area networks, you connect to our for me, I'm from KL, so we are actually using the wide area networks. Okay, so local area networks, different local connected to a router. Do you realize that your home got wireless router? Why do you need to have a router? Because you need to have a router to access to the internet, so that you can connect to the wide area networks. So internet means that a very huge geographical location. You can have a interconnecting LAN over a wide geographical locations, not only in your own organization only. Okay, you can talk to people from different states or from different countries. Okay, so it's typically administered by one or more service provider. Service provider means like maybe you subscribe to Macy's, broadband, telecom, or any of this telco company. Okay, this is what we call service provider. And then typically provide a slower speed links between the local area networks. Okay, so that is about the wide area networks. And what else? Okay, then talk about the metropolitan area networks. So a network infrastructure that span a physical area larger. Okay, let me explain this. Larger than LAN, smaller than WAN. That means it's in the middle here. Local area networks is a small geographical location. Wide area networks is involved in the very huge geographical location, like state communication from the state and so on. So your MAN will be middle here, means that it's bigger than LAN, smaller than WAN. Okay, that is called MAN, M-A-N. Oh, okay, I repeat again. Metropolitan area network, it can be bigger than LAN, it can be smaller than WAN. So example, like if you go to the TAUC, so TAUC lab, all this is local area networks. So if the TAUC from KL connect to the Penang, Perak, Johor, Sabah branch, all these branch, right? So it's involved wide area networks. And then if you are from TAUC, you go to this Stapak, any of this center nearby, okay, that is or maybe your what you call that, your apartment nearby TAUC, so that will be metropolitan area networks. Okay, so bigger than LAN, smaller than WAN. Okay, next we talk about the wireless LAN. So the wireless LAN will be similar to the local area networks, but wirelessly interconnect users. So I think this one you understand now. That means it is still covered the local area networks, but we are using the wireless, like your wireless connectivity at home. Okay, you are using the wireless, so that no matter where you are from, different room or different, maybe you are from ground floor or first floor, no matter where you are, you use the wireless line, you can access to the internet anywhere you go. Okay, but it is limited to your house. So when you go out a few meters from your house, your internet connection lost already. Why? Because you are no longer in the wireless LAN coverage. Okay, next we go for storage area networks. So the storage area networks will be a network infrastructure designed to support the file server and provide a data storage retrieval. Okay, this one is like our drive lah. That means that you are storing all those information online. Okay, like our Google Drive. So it will support the file server, provide a data storage for you. and involve the high-end servers, multiple disk array. Wow, this one is like Google Drive. There's at the high end, at their server side, they will have all these multiple disk arrays for them to store the data. Okay, and fiber channel interconnection technology. So storage area networks means all our data were stored online, okay, throughout the online. That is what we call storage area network. It can be the offline, it can be the online as well, yeah. Okay, next, we talk about the internet. So internet is actually can be worldwide localization of the interconnected LAN and also the wide area networks. Okay, I think this one everybody know lah. Okay, internet. So this internet is controlled by the certain organization like IETF, ICANN, IAB. So this is just for your information. That means there is a certain organization that control the standard of internet so that we can connect to all the people around the world. Okay, next, we talk about the intranet and extranet. Okay, let me use the example for intranet and extranet. So intranet is the one that, like, you are our TAUC students, you can use our, you are accessing to the TAUC server to access your result, to print out your certificate, to print out your result and so on. So that is what, or maybe access to our materials, Google Classroom, Google Meet, that whatsoever that we share internally, okay? So that is what we call intranet. That's why you have a domain called your name, then alliance.tarc.edu.my, because you are accessing to our TAUC organization. So this is what we call intranet. So intranet is a term used to refer to a private connection of a local area networks and also the wide area networks that belongs to an organization, which is our TAUC lah, for example. Okay. And you can only access to your own, our server if you have the valid account. So once you graduate from our TAUC, you are no longer accessing to our intranet. So, okay, so this intranet is only accessible by the employees or maybe the students, okay, within the company, from home or outside the company, okay? Okay, how about the extranet? Now, extranet means accessing to their materials, to their server. So our internal organization students, which is TAUC students, accessing to other people's website with their permission. So that is called extranet. Okay, I've done. So let's go to 1.3, the network as a platform. Okay, internet access technology, you have many ways to connect to the user's organization. Some using the subscriber line, okay, which is the broadband cable, broadband digital subscriber line, or maybe you are using the wireless LAN, or maybe you are using the mobile services, okay? So the organization need a faster connection to support the IP phones, video conferencing, and also the data center storage. Then the business class international, the interconnections are usually provided by the service provider, okay, SP, that might include the business DSL, lease line. Okay, lease line means that something like your telephone at home, even though you don't use it also, you have to pay per subscription. Why? Because the internet service provider like telecom, they reserve the number for you. Like for example, your home number will be 0 something. All the while is maintained. Every month is the same one, right? If you don't change it. So because of telecom, the telecommunication service provider provide you with this line. This is called lease line, right? They really pull one physical cable grounded on the floor from their server side, their organization, go to your house, connected to your telephone at home. This is called lease line. This one is very, very expensive because you have to pay per month. Even though you don't use it, also you have to pay. Same thing like our Wi-Fi as well. You have a monthly subscription for how many bandwidth that you subscribe. Okay, so that's about the internet access. Okay, next, we talk about the connection. So the connection, we will have a cable. You will have the high bandwidth, always on internet offered by cable television service provider. You will have the DSL, DSL, as I mentioned just now, is a high bandwidth, and it will always on. Okay, 24 hours, always on internet connection that run over the telephone line. Examples like your telephone at home, yeah. So it's using the DSL connection. Cellular is the one that like your mobile handphone. Okay, your mobile phone is a cellular using the cell phone networks to connect to the internet, or you have a satellite. When you turn on the Google Maps, you are connecting to our satellite. So this satellite is the rural, especially the major benefit to the rural areas. Without the ISP, at least you can able to access. All right, then we will have the dial-out telephone. So dial-out telephone is an inexpensive, low bandwidth option using a modem. Okay, you just use a modem to access it. Next, businesses internet connections. So you have a corporate business in connection may require you to have a higher bandwidth, dedicated connection, and the managed services. So again, all these already repeated. So what is the lease line is the one that I mentioned just now. From the telecom, we reserve that line to you. So that's why it's very, very expensive. Then every month you have to pay for a subscription. Okay, next is about the Ethernet one. Okay, it will extend the local area networks into the wide area networks. Then you will have a DSL, as I mentioned just now. Okay, then you will have a satellite. Talk about the traditional separate networks. Yeah, we will have a multiple networks. We have no ways to merge all these together. So convergent network is can combine them together. So you can send the text, and then at the same time, this device can send the audio, and then this one can send the video. All these things they can work in one network. So this is what we call converged networks. Okay. All right. So that's about the 1.3. Then we go for 1.4, the changing network environment. Okay. So talk about the new trends. What is the new trends right now? BYOD. Okay, BYOD means that bring your own device. So when you attended the lecture, when you attended this practical or tutorial, bring your own iPad, you bring your own device, a handphone, and so on. Okay, so this is very convenient and new trends. You just turn on your handphone, and you can access to the social media, Facebook, and all that. It's just in the fingertips. Okay, so and then you can also join any other online collaboration like what you are doing right now. You are joining. You imagine that we have 538 students attending the Google Meet, so you can see everybody. Okay, online collaborate. So one question you post out, everybody can see. So we use the Google Meet. In the Cisco, we can use the Cisco WebEx. Okay, we will have Cisco WebEx is something like a Google Meet also. You can see that they will have a calling, a video call, share screen, and then they will have a chat box or whatsoever. Okay, so but then it's using the Cisco WebEx. Okay, next is about the video communication. If you go to any of the company, right, if they have this very huge telepresence, the communication here, physically you are sitting at this table, and then you do a telepresent. All of them you can see them. Okay, but all this is connected to the telepresent, whereby they will have something like a recording your face, so you are dealing with them. So like for example, my one is actually using one computer only, but if you use the telepresent, you will have multiple bit screen. Then it's something like very live one, you know. So you can communicate with around the world each day, transform the organization from transforming our customer experiences. Okay. Okay, next we talk about the cloud computing. Cloud computing, very simple for you to understand, is that it will allow you to store your personal files, your backup, your data over the internet. Like our Google Drive is called the cloud computing as well, because if you forgot to bring your assignment, you forgot to bring your lecture, tutorial question, practical question, everything is stored online, right? So you can just download in 1 second only if you have the internet access. Okay, so all this is called cloud computing. 4 types of the cloud computing. You will have a public, you will have a private, hybrid, and custom. So what is the public? So public means that it's accessible for everybody and it's free. Like any of the drive that you are subscribing. Of course, it's very limited to maybe if you access to the public clouds, right, it will have a limited storage, like 1 GB for you only. So after hit the 1 GB storage, then you have to pay. So that is called private clouds. So you pay extra storage, then you will intended for a specific organization and entity such as the government. Then you can also do the hybrid mode, and you can also do the custom clouds. Okay, so very simple for you to understand these 4 types of the cloud. All right, next, we talk about the technology trends in the home. Smart home technology is a growing trend that allow technology to be integrated into everyday appliances, which allow them to interconnect with other devices. Like for example, nowadays, you know, in order for us to start our car engine, right, we don't even need to use a key. Okay, there's or maybe there will be a sensor that just holding a very small devices only. You can press the button, then you can kickstart your car already, but you are actually still sleeping on the bed. Okay, it's a growing trend that allows technology to be integrated into everyday appliances. Okay, next we talk about the power line networking. All right, power line networking can allow the devices to connect to a LAN where data network cables or wireless communication are not a viable option. Okay, so power line networking means that it will allow all these devices, okay, to connect to a LAN when you don't use the data network cables or wireless line. So using the standard power line adapter, devices can connect to a local area networks wherever there is an electrical outlet by sending the data on the certain frequency. Okay, so you can use the standard power line adapter. You can connect to the LAN when the electrical outlet sending the data. So then another thing is about this power line networking is useful when the wireless access point cannot reach all the devices in the home. So let's say, for example, here, I might connected to the first floor, and then you want to have the connection in the ground floor for this television at smart TV here. So you can install the power line networking, okay, as an adapter for you to strengthen the signal so that you can pass down the signal to here. Because sometimes if your network is weak, so you notice that when you go to the server room, especially those who are having the Wi-Fi at home, so you have to make sure that you store your this router at the strategic location. So what they did is that if you enter to the certain room, then your signal is considered like cannot online, cannot check email, whatsoever, right? It could be your network blocking by the certain, you know, partition or whatsoever. So you can install this power line networking to strengthen the signal so that you can smoothly access to the internet connection. Okay, this one is called power line networking. Okay, or we call it adapter. So you can buy this power line adapter to extend network. Okay, what else? Then we have a wireless broadband. Wireless broadband, everybody know lah. You can bring your own wireless broadband to go to the library to access the internet, whatsoever. Okay, that is you have to subscribe on your own lah. Okay, so that's about the wireless broadband. That's it. That's about the chapter 1.